Imagine building an empire brick by brick, only to realize the real attacks aren't coming from the outside. They're coming from the people standing right beside you. This is the story of Lil Wayne. His rise to becoming the best rapper alive was more than a journey to the top. It was a battlefield. He endured betrayal, alleged gunfire, and quiet moves meant to sabotage his career. Yet the most painful blows didn't come from rivals or enemies. They came from the very people he once called brothers, mentors, and even idols. Now, at 43, Lil Wayne is finally revealing the 6 artists he disliked the most. Starting at number 6, we have Pitbull. This conflict was brief, explosive, and rooted in the one thing Lil Wayne could not claim: hometown pride. In February 2013, Wayne had for years called Miami his adopted home. But during the NBA All-Star Weekend, he went on an infamous onstage rant, yelling, "Freck the Miami Heat," and making vulgar claims about the wife of player Chris Bosh. For the natives of Miami, this was the ultimate disrespect. The rant deeply offended local legends like Luther Uncle Luke Campbell and Trick Daddy, who felt Wayne was spitting on the city that had embraced him. This set the stage for Mr. 305 himself, Pitbull, to step in and defend his city's honor. Pitbull moved quickly, releasing a diss track titled "Welcome to Dade County" over the viral Harlem Shake beat. The lyrics were a direct and simple warning to his fellow artists: "You talk Miami, if you talking heat, moral of the story, don't shit where you eat." But Pitbull didn't stop at territorial defense. He wove in a specific and stinging shot at Wayne's business, revealing a crack in the cash money empire that the world had not yet fully seen. He rapped, "You got money, yeah, that's sweet, but we all know Slim and Baby really eat." He also made it personal, referencing Wayne's New Orleans origin and how Miami had shown love to those that get their city destroyed by a hurricane. This beef, however, fizzled out almost as fast as it began. Lil Wayne, seeming genuinely confused by the personal nature of the attack, tweeted a simple message: "Damn Pitbull, bro, I thought you was cool." Pitbull immediately clarified his position. This wasn't personal aggression, it was a non-negotiable defense of his home. He tweeted back, "At Lil Tunchi, I am cool papo, but imagine me shitting on anything New Orleans," and followed with, "Miami is all I got, no disrespect, just the truth." Wayne, who had previously collaborated with Pitbull, ultimately apologized to the city of Miami, clarifying that his anger was directed only at the sports team, not the people. Moving on to number 5, we have Gillie Da Kid. This is one of the longest running and most personal he said feuds in Lil Wayne's career. Gillie Da Kid, a fellow rapper from Philadelphia who was briefly associated with Cash Money, has built a significant part of his narrative on one central claim: that he was Lil Wayne's ghostwriter for The Carter, the 2004 album that launched Wayne into superstardom. This claim led to a bitter, back-and-forth exchange of diss tracks in the mid-2000s. Gillie attacked Wayne's credibility, and Wayne fired back on tracks like Problem Solver, rapping, "Gillie man, I don't think Gus should really f*** with me." When Lil Wayne was asked about Gillie's claims in an interview, he delivered one of the most famously dismissive and humiliating moments in rap. He pretended he had no idea who Gillie was, responding blankly, Who? What kid?" Years later, in 2023, Wayne's father, Birdman, also publicly defended him, accusing Gillie of lying about his contributions to the label. The beef, which had been simmering for over a decade, was publicly reignited in 2022. Gillie, now the wildly successful co-host of the $1 Million Worth of Game podcast, went on the It's Tricky with Raquel Harper show and claimed he had recently run into Wayne at a Jackson State University event. Gillie described the encounter in detail, claiming Wayne was visibly shook and scared to see him. He alleged Wayne gave him a brief, nervous handshake and then got the f*** out of there. This claim, however, was almost immediately proven false. Young Money president Mac Main, Wayne's longtime friend and business partner, took to social media to post the actual video of the encounter. The footage showed the exact opposite of Gillie's story. In the clip, Lil Wayne is seen smiling, walking up to Gillie, and confidently initiating the handshake in a brief, friendly exchange. Mac Main captioned the post, "This Hollywood shit crazy. Please watch both videos. Don't let him trick you. And if you wrote the Carter 1, who wrote the Carter 2, and 3, and 4, and 5? The ghostwriting claim, which Gillie has used for nearly 2 decades, was likely a response to a financial dispute rather than the origin of the feud. In a revealing interview, Gillie himself gave away the real motive, stating, "Once they didn't want to give me the money I was asking for, then I knew it was a problem." This quote is the key. It follows a recurring pattern. Artists like Gillie, and later Juvenile, had their primary financial disputes with Birdman and Cash Money. Gilly's attack on Wayne's pen was simply his weapon of choice in a fight that was, at its core, about money. Another artist Lil hated was Jay-Z. In 2003, Jay-Z released the Black Album, which he marketed as his final retirement album. On it, he repeatedly and definitively declared himself the best rapper alive. For Jay-Z, the case was closed. But in 2004, Lil Wayne saw the opening. On The Carter, he respectfully acknowledged Jay's claim while simultaneously claiming the throne for himself. On the track Bring It Back, he rapped, "I'm the best rapper alive, best rapper retired." It was a polite but clear challenge. The challenge became direct in 2005. On Thaw Carter 2, Wayne released a song brazenly titled Best Rapper Alive. On this track, he dropped the retired qualifier. He was no longer the best since. He was simply the best, period. The game was on. This feud resolved not with diss tracks, but with a rare display of mutual respect. It culminated in two iconic collaborations that served as a formal passing of the torch from one king to the next. First, on Jay-Z's 2007 album American Gangster, he featured Wayne on the track Hello Brooklyn 2.0. Most importantly, on Lil Wayne's 2008 blockbuster album Thay Carter III, Jay-Z appeared on the song Mr. Carter. The song's entire concept is Jay-Z, Mr. Carter, anointing Lil Wayne, Young Carter, Mr. Carter Jr., as the heir to the throne he once held. It was the peaceful conclusion to a bloodless war for the crown. Years later, this relationship would prove to be one of the most important of Wayne's career. His one-time rival for the Best Rapper Alive title would become his most critical ally in his war against Birdman. In June 2015, Lil Wayne was trapped. He was in the middle of his $51 million lawsuit against Birdman, and Cash Money was refusing to release the Carter 5. He was, in his own words, a prisoner with no outlet for his creativity. In a brilliant strategic move, Wayne announced he had signed a streaming deal with Jay-Z's new platform, Tidal. He announced this deal by calling Jay his motherfrecking idol. This partnership was Wayne's escape route. It allowed him to release the Free Wheezy album, a project that directly antagonized Birdman. This move was so effective that Birdman immediately countersued, filing a $50 million lawsuit against Jay-Z and Tidal for streaming the album. The beef for the title had evolved into a powerful business alliance, with Jay-Z providing Wayne the leverage and the platform he desperately needed to fight for his freedom. At number 3, we have Pusha T. This is one of the longest, most complex, and purely lyrical feuds in rap. It has no resolution. It is not about money or family. It is about style, respect, and lyrical dominance. The feud began in 2006. Pusha T and his brother No Malice were a critically acclaimed duo called Clips. They, along with their producer Pharrell Williams, were famous for popularizing the Japanese fashion brand Bape, a bathing ape, in American hip-hop. When Lil Wayne, then the hottest rising star in rap, appeared on the cover of Vibe magazine wearing a pink Bape hoodie, Clips felt he was copying their signature style. They released a not-so-subtle diss track, Mr. Me Too, about all the new rappers biting their flow and fashion. Wayne, who was beginning to feel his own power, fired back in a now legendary Complex interview. He dismissed Clips entirely. "I don't see no freaking Clips. Talk to me like you're talking to the best. Who the freck is Pharrell?" This sparked a years-long war of words. On Clips's 2006 album Hell Hath No Fury, Pusha rapped, "I'm the best since he died and he lied." He later confirmed he who died was Biggie Smalls, and he who lied was Lil Wayne for calling himself the best. Pusha also repeatedly mocked the infamous photo of Wayne and Birdman, saying in a radio interview that Wayne can't even use them words in conjunction with the Clips if he's going to kiss men. In 2008, Clips dissed them again on the We Got It 4 Cheap Varan 3 mixtape. "Don't make me turn daddy's lil girl to orphan. That mean I'd have to kill baby like abortion." The feud went quiet when Wayne went to jail. Pusha T, in a sign of goodwill, even rapped Free Wheezy on his 2011 track Open Your Eyes, and later told Complex the beef was dead and over with. However, the war reignited in 2012, and it was bigger than ever. Pusha T was now signed to Kanye West's GOD music label. He released a dark, menacing track called Exodus 23:1. The song was widely interpreted as a direct shot at Lil Wayne's protege Drake and his contract with Cash Money. "Contract all F, ket up. I guess that means you all frecked up." Lil Wayne, as the head of the Young Money family, took this as a declaration of war against his entire camp. He went on an uncharacteristically public and angry Twitter tirade, starting with a message that drew a new line in the sand. F, K, Pusha T, and anybody that love 'em. That tweet became the opening line of his official diss track, Ghoulish. But Ghoulish was a rare miss for Wayne. In his haste to respond, he released a song that was widely panned by fans and critics as trash and subpar. Pusha T himself dismissed it in interviews as a weak response. This exchange highlighted a fundamental shift. The beef was no longer just about a Bape hoodie. It had evolved into a proxy war between two of the biggest camps in hip-hop, Wayne's Young Money, Wayne, Drake, Nicki Minaj, and Kanye's G.O.O.D. music, Pusha T. This conflict would later morph into the infamous and deeply personal Drake versus Pusha T feud, but it was Lil Wayne who, as the head of his label, defended his camp first. Young Thug is number 2 on our list. This is one of the strangest, most dangerous, and most misunderstood feuds in hip-hop. It began with pure admiration. Young Thug, an eccentric and stylistically innovative rapper from Atlanta, grew up idolizing Lil Wayne. He openly and repeatedly called Wayne his idol in interviews. The conflict began in 2014, at the exact moment Lil Wayne's bitter financial dispute with Birdman was starting to boil over. As Wayne was fighting to get the Carter 5 released, Birdman signed Young Thug to his Rich Gang imprint. Then, Young Thug made a shocking announcement. His debut project would be titled Carter 6. Thug and his camp claimed this was the ultimate homage to his idol, a way of carrying on the legacy. Lil Wayne, his fans, and his daughter, Regina Carter, saw this as the ultimate act of disrespect. From their perspective, Birdman was holding Wayne's The Carter 5 hostage, while simultaneously promoting a replacement artist who was brazenly using his flagship album's name. Wayne, feeling betrayed, lashed out. At his concerts, he began telling the crowd, "I want y'all to do me a favor and stop listening to songs of Nen," as that pose naked on the Mother King album cover. This was a direct shot at Thug's Barter 6 artwork. He also told a different crowd, "Such thing as Carter 6. Under threat of a lawsuit, Thug and his label eventually changed the name to Barter 6. This feud, however, quickly moved from rap to real-world violence. In April 2015, just days after the Barter 6 controversy, Lil Wayne's tour bus was shot at by gunmen in Atlanta after a show. An indictment was filed against Jimmy Pee Wee Roscoe Winfrey, an affiliate of Young Thug. Most shockingly, the indictment alleged that Roscoe carried out Thug's threats and, in a stunning accusation, named both Young Thug and Birdman as co-conspirators in a plot to murder Lil Wayne. Roscoe was later sentenced to 10 years in prison for the shooting. This 2015 bus shooting incident was later incorporated as a key overt act in the sweeping 2022 YSL RICO indictment against Young Thug. Given the life-or-death stakes, the resolution to this beef is almost unbelievable. Despite being named in an alleged murder plot against him, the feud between Wayne and Thug is resolved. In a 2022 podcast, Thug claimed the entire beef was a misunderstanding. He said Wayne ain't on the internet and was just like going off of what people would say to him. In April 2024, while Young Thug was incarcerated on the YSL RICO charge, Lil Wayne released a collaboration with him titled Bless. This forgiveness only makes sense when you understand the true dynamic. Young Thug was never the true villain in this story. He was a pawn in Birdman's psychological war against Lil Wayne. Thug's admiration for Wayne was public and genuine. It was Birdman who saw an opportunity in Thug's homage. By signing Thug, championing him as the next big star, and publicly encouraging the Carter 6 title, Birdman was sending a clear and cruel message to his son. You are replaceable. I am making a new you while I hold your album hostage. The feud was never truly Wayne versus Thug. It was Birdman using Thug as a means to an end. Wayne's eventual forgiveness of Thug suggests that he, too, eventually realized Thug was just a pawn in Birdman's twisted game. Finally, at number 1, we have Birdman. This is the most important, painful, and definitive conflict of Lil Wayne's life. It was not a beef. It was a divorce. It was a public 4-year war that pitted a father against his son, resulting in lawsuits, public humiliation, and alleged conspiracies of violence. Their bond was legendary. Wayne met Brian Birdman Williams when he was just a child, either 9 or 11 years old. With his biological father absent, Wayne embraced Birdman as his daddy, a title he used in public and on countless songs. Birdman, in turn, called Wayne his son in nearly every interview. Their relationship was so close that they released a 2006 album titled Like Father, Like Son. For years, rumors swirled that Birdman and his brother, Ronald Slim Williams, were withholding money from their artists. The departures of Juvenile, BG, Turk, and Manny Fresh were all tied to financial disputes, but Wayne stayed loyal. Then, on December 4th, 2014, the unthinkable happened. Wayne himself turned on his father. He posted a series of tweets that sent shockwaves through the music industry. First, to all my fans, I want you to know that my album won't and hasn't been released. Beku's Baby and Cash Money Wreck refused to release it. He followed it with the tweet that truly began the war. I am a prisoner, and so is my creativity. Again, I am truly sorry. I want off this label and nothing to do with these people, but unfortunately, it ain't that easy. In January 2015, the tweets became a legal reality. Lil Wayne filed a $51 million lawsuit against Cash Money Records and Birdman. The suit alleged that Birdman had breached his contract by withholding Thick Harder 5 and had failed to pay Wayne an $8 million advance for the album. But the lawsuit went far deeper than one album. This was a fight for Wayne's entire empire. The suit alleged that Birdman and Cash Money had failed to pay Wayne his share of profits from the artists he had discovered and signed to his Young Money imprint, Drake and Nicki Minaj. Wayne owned 49% of the Young Money label, and he was accusing Birdman of siphoning profits that belonged to him. Wayne's lawsuit sought to free not only himself, but his entire Young Money roster from Birdman's control. The feud became public and incredibly ugly. It was fought on wax, as Wayne immediately released his Sorry For The Wait 2 mixtape, which was full of disses. On the song Coco, he rapped a line that was both a diss and a heartbreak. Who, Birdman Jr., more like ugly duckling. It was a painful reversal of the Birdman Jr. nickname he had proudly carried for a decade. The conflict also escalated to public humiliation. In July 2015, while Lil Wayne was on stage performing at Club Live in Miami, Birdman and his entourage, who were in the VIP section above, allegedly threw a drink at him. Most seriously, the feud is the direct backdrop for the April 2015 tour bus shooting. The indictment against the shooter, Pee Wee Roscoe, explicitly stated that Roscoe, a Thug and Birdman affiliate, claimed the shooting was the result of the financial dispute between Wayne and Birdman. The indictment further alleged that Birdman was a party to the crime. The war split the industry, forcing everyone to choose a side. Nicki Minaj stayed loyal to both, refusing to take a side. She called it a family matter, saying, "I'm very close with Baby. I am banking on the fact that they're gonna work this out like family." Drake, however, quietly sided with Wayne. His 2015 surprise project, If You're Reading This It's Too Late, was widely interpreted as a direct message to Birdman. The title implied that his contract obligations to Cash Money were fulfilled, and it was too late for Birdman to stop him from leaving with Wayne. The most vocal and powerful defender of Lil Wayne was Rick Ross. He stated in interviews that he can't respect how Birdman was treating his son. He then released a scathing diss track aimed directly at Birdman called Idols Become Rivals, where he took Birdman to task for his treatment of Wayne and DJ Khaled, rapping, "I wonder if Birdman paid that man yet." After a brutal, public, and expensive 4-year legal battle, a settlement was finally reached in June 2018. Lil Wayne was reportedly paid well over $10 million, but most importantly, he was finally and fully released from his Cash Money Records contract. He was a free man. Universal Music Group, the parent company, allegedly paid the massive settlement because they wanted to secure their future profits from Drake and Nicki Minaj, which was a core part of Wayne's lawsuit. On September 28, 2018, The Prisoner was free. The Carter 5 was finally released, not on Cash Money, but under the full control of his own Young Money label. The album's release was seen as a massive victory, ending the longest, most painful, and most transformative chapter of his life.